Welcome back to F1 Blogs, the channel where we break down all things Formula One. Today, we're diving deep into the tough weekend Aston Martin is having at the Brazilian Grand Prix, where Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll finished at the very back in the sprint race. In a disappointing turn for the team, even last-minute setup changes failed to deliver any real improvement. Alonso's remarks about the car's pace, struggles with new track conditions, and hopes for rain reveal the challenges Aston Martin faces this season. Stick around as we look at what went wrong, Alonso's comments on the season, and what lies ahead for the team. Let's get into it. Aston Martin's setup struggles at Interlagos. In Brazil, Aston Martin faced one of their most challenging weekends yet. Both Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll were forced to start from the pit lane as the team experimented with setup changes, hoping to gain some much-needed pace. But unfortunately, the adjustments didn't pay off. The AMR24 struggled significantly, trailing by almost a full second per lap against other teams at the back of the grid, like Sauber. Alonso's frustrations were evident as he noted, "We tried different things with the car setup, but honestly, there's not much positive to say. We just didn't have the pace this weekend." This statement really captures the mood within Aston Martin, where the lack of speed has been a recurring theme. Despite their efforts, the team hasn't been able to unlock any performance gains this weekend. Track conditions and changing weather add to Aston Martin's troubles. With a newly resurfaced track and unpredictable weather conditions, the team found themselves struggling to find any balance. The Interlagos track has seen fluctuating winds and varying temperatures, making it even harder for Aston Martin to adapt their car effectively. These changes exaggerated the car's weaknesses, which are especially noticeable in circuits with numerous corners. Alonso himself confirmed this, explaining that, "The more corners there are, the tougher it gets for us." The AMR24's grip issues are even more obvious in twisty sections, where the car simply can't hold its own against the competition. Alonso hinted at the unpredictable weather as a potential opportunity to turn things around. "Maybe it'll rain tomorrow, and that could open up some chances for us," he said. The team will be looking to make the most out of any rain forecasted for Sunday, but as of now, the outlook isn't promising. Alonso reflects on Aston Martin's consistent struggles. Alonso's patience seems to be wearing thin as the AMR24 continues to lag far behind in performance. Over the past 8 or 9 races, Aston Martin has consistently been at the back of the grid, placing 8th or 9th in terms of team rankings. In Alonso's own words, "We've been the 9th or even last team for several races now, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. In the upcoming 3 races, it's likely we'll still be at the back of the pack." It's a stark contrast from Aston Martin's previous season, where they frequently competed near the top and even had podium finishes. Alonso noted this shift, stating, "Just last year, we were fighting for podiums, and now we're at the bottom. It's tough, but we have to accept where we are." Reflecting on the rare podium finishes they managed earlier this season in Baku and Singapore, he admitted, "Looking back, it's clear that those points were more of a miracle than the norm." This season, Aston Martin has been struggling especially on circuits with multiple corners, where the car's handling is severely impacted. The team performs somewhat better on straight sections where it's easier to manage the car, but once they hit corners, their lap times plummet. A frustrating weekend as Aston Martin focuses on future improvements. While Alonso remains hopeful for an unpredictable turn in the weather, he also knows that short-term fixes won't make a substantial difference. "We just have to accept that miracles don't happen overnight," he said, adding that his focus is shifting more towards next season as Aston Martin works to address these ongoing issues. He went on to say, "In Mexico, we were still the 9th or 10th team, and just a few days later, here we are in the same place. We need to start thinking about the next season." Alonso's realism about the situation shows his awareness of Aston Martin's limitations this year, as well as his understanding of the competitive landscape in F1. The team's struggles with cornering speed, grip, and overall race pace have made it clear that they're playing a long game, with major improvements likely pushed to the next season. What's next for Aston Martin? As Aston Martin prepares for the last few races of the season, they'll be looking to make the most of any opportunities that come their way. But for now, their focus is on collecting data and making incremental changes, knowing that significant improvements may only come with the new season. Alonso's words remind us that Formula One is a sport where progress is rarely quick, and for Aston Martin, the road to competitiveness is a longer journey than they might have hoped. Thank you for tuning into F1 Blogs. If you enjoyed this in-depth look at Aston Martin's current challenges and want more updates and analysis on all things F1, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. We'll see you soon.